A little bit more reviewing of Fox News to do. Pete Buttigieg went on Fox, which is always fun to watch. And we will watch some clips. Let's start with this.
At a time when we have these shocking events in Minnesota, right? When you have American citizens being arrested, being gunned down, something that I think can bring a lot of people together. Watching somebody exercising their First Amendment rights and Second Amendment rights. I know my party doesn't talk about the Second Amendment as much, but I think seeing an American taken to the ground, having his gun removed, and then after having his gun removed, being shot in the back up to 10 times, and then having the government say that he was a terrorist all along, based on no evidence besides the fact that he was a lawful concealed carry holder. I think those are the kinds of things that, as painful as they are, can actually bring together a lot of Americans to say, hey, we need a different direction. Or even if you do usually vote Republican, we need some balance in our government so that you got a Congress that isn't just a rubber stamp, that can exercise some oversight over an administration that's gotten out of control.
Now, this clip, he did a good job. You can tell the notable part. I didn't even see, this is going off of accounts that clipped the interview, so I didn't even see what came before this, but found it substantive what he said in the clip. But then look at that lower third chyron. Buttigieg on whether trans athletes should compete in women's sports. And it's like, this should be the model, I think. I didn't see the first part of his answer, but you're going to have to answer the question. Don't do the weird squarely thing, but then try to make sure that you contrast it against what you think should be getting a little bit more emphasis. So it's such a Fox News thing to do in the moment we're currently in, the chaos that we're currently in, to be like, now Pete Buttigieg, what do you think about the 3.2 trans athletes in an American state? And it's like, all right, cool, I'll give you the answer. Yeah, leagues should be able to make a decision, ensure fairness, fine, great. But like, what are you talking about? We should also prioritize dignity and respect for people. What are you talking about? So 2 people just got shot in the streets by our government. What? You want to keep talking about this? Or should we go list of most pressing to least pressing? What are we thinking here? Oh no, just most salacious to least seems like your priority. Just the quickest break from the video to request that you click the subscribe button. As you know, that's an important way to boost the message that we deliver to a larger audience, which is very important. Helps us out, but it's completely free on your end. Just by clicking that subscribe button, you help support our work. Then another clip.
6% of Democrats have a favorable view of socialism, and I'm wondering what your response is to that and how you'll handle it on the trail.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that's kind of just become a label and sometimes name calling, where the really important thing is to figure out what candidates actually stand for. It's not surprising that you're going to have a different kind of Democrat winning in a place like New York City than you might in a place like New Jersey or Virginia or Northern Michigan, where I live, or the other places we're going to be competing. But what I'm finding is that even though we're a big tent and different Democrats sometimes have different answers, we're asking the same question, and I think it's the right question, which is, how do we make life more affordable in this country? You know, this president took office promising that he was going to make life more affordable on day one. He said grocery prices would go down. They've gone up. Energy prices are up while he's killing utility projects that would create more energy generation. Obviously, we're really in a painful place as a country right now on healthcare, where a big issue in the midterms will be, why did so many congressional Republicans vote to cut Medicaid while they were giving tax cuts to...
Something is cracking me up about Kayleigh McEnany just blankly staring into the teleprompter this whole time. Like, is any of what he's saying clocking? Is it clocking to you, Kayleigh? Did y'all see Bieber's performance last night?
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
It's not, and standing in your boxers. It was honestly a great performance at the Grammys. So check it out. And I grabbed my lip while I was saying that. I don't just mean because of his body. I mean the music. I was thinking about listening to the music with my eyes. No. But Kayleigh's just sort of blankly staring silently.
some of the wealthiest Americans, and why do they refuse?
This is me watching Bieber last night. Ready? Kaylee. I'm Kaylee.
To extend the tax credits that will help with everybody's premiums going up. You know, the House voted to do it. The Senate GOP refuses, and the president, I think, could solve that with one phone call, but he just won't. So these are the kinds of issues that I've been hearing about. Certainly that event you mentioned when I was in Wisconsin, really around the country, and I think they're going to drive the election this year.
Yeah, we did an election on transports. And plenty of Democrats botched what their answer should be. And that's fine to note. And a country that does an election, when you have one of the candidates saying terminate the Constitution, on trans sports, is a deeply irrational country. And now, we want to protect the kids. That's why we talk so much about trans sports. And now Epstein files are being released. Trump, I think we could say, is a predator, at the very least. So good job. Good job. The priorities you focused on really freaking were terrible, weren't they? And Kamala would be like, I'm not going to do anything differently than whatever it is that what? She get asked about that issue and be like, freaking, I don't know. Do whatever the hell y'all want. Like, about leagues. I've never heard Democrats be like, we need to prevent higher level leagues from restricting for whatever fairness standards. Never heard it. And then she would get asked about that clip of her saying, which was happening during the Trump administration, that there'd be taxpayer funded surgeries because it would fall under healthcare in prisons. And she was like, I'm just going to follow whatever the law already was. I'm not changing anything. I'm not going to do any extra things for any trans person in prison. And they were like, bruh, and that apparently had a multiple point impact on the election. You're letting that ad, as she's not even really standing by what she said in it, swing the election when the other guy's like, hey, we're going to send the military after my political enemies. Hell yeah. Hey, terminate the Constitution. Hey, you know how we're going to drive up? We know how we're going to drive down prices. We're going to drive them up. That's how we're going to drive them down. We're going to drive them up with tariffs. And then So hey, if you are one of the people who were like, that my daughter who doesn't play sports could get into a sport with the trans person that I've never met in a league that might already restrict out trans people, at least, you know, in most circumstances. So, and Kamala doesn't even necessarily have any way she wants to change it. So I'm voting for Trump, and then we've gotten here and you're not happy with the economy and you realize Trump's kind of just a pedophile. Oh, but we don't know for shut up. Would you for a second? Let me ask you this. Okay, let's do this. Ready? If I told you that last night I was in a Sprinter van with 5 Nazis screaming Heil Hitler, would you think I was a Nazi? Probably. Andrew Tate. I just described that right-wingers night out they had where they were singing that song. So similarly, if I told you that I was best friends with 7 pedophiles, would you assume I was a pedophile? Yeah, that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. And if on top of that there were all these allegations against you, you get my point. So hey, good job, guys. Good job on prioritizing a sliver of a percent of an issue over all the issues that impact everyone. Very rational. But anyways, that was a good point from Pete. I think you get the point. I just wanted to give you a little taste of his Fox News appearance.